All right, y'all. What up? It's your boy Marv, and I am doing something a little different today. I am getting on the road, and normally I'll be set up doing my videos in my studio, but I have to take y'all on the road with me. All right, I'm gonna show y'all. So So you see my setup here, if I can get my lighting right. So you can see, got my camera stuff here. So of course y'all can see all that. Now you might be saying, look, Marv, you got you got the screen and everything. You dig? Why you need all that? You know what I'm saying? What's the whole purpose of all of that? What's the whole purpose of all that? You don't need all that, but that's just my preference, right? But today is all about getting the job done. All right. So, I had something else I want to talk about today, but I have an appointment to go to, which is not going to allow me to be home and do what I need to do in the studio. So instead of canceling, because I'm trying to stay committed to the process, I got to get the job done. And make sure I don't be bumping my mic. Make sure I got my good audio. And that's what I want to talk to you guys today about. Getting the job done, right? As DIYers in the space of an indie artist, an indie producer, right? One of the main things that is a hindrance for us is when it comes to the lack of the resource of finances, right? If you're an indie artist, you don't have a budget, everything is out of your pocket unless you've planned this out, you've planned your music career out prior to you getting into it, so you map the whole plan out, which most people have not did that. So most of the money that you're spending is coming from your check. You know what I'm saying? You try to make it work, right? So the money is always a factor, right? So we find ourselves at certain crossroads when it's time to really get to the crunch of things, right? But when there's a mandate, and that's something that has to, and that's something that has to get done, no matter what the circumstance and the situation is, it has to be done. Like, you have to be able to figure this thing out. That's your sound. That's the soundtrack of your life. That's the soundtrack of our lives as a DIY, as DIYers, right? Even for me, shucks, I don't have a production deal. So if I buy equipment, that got to come out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying? My son is my artist. I don't have, I have a small boutique label. You know what I'm saying? So that money is coming out of my pocket. I don't have no funding sent to the side just as yet. Lord knows I'm trying to work on it, but I don't have it like that yet. So there's some things that I have to be savvy. I got to figure some things out. Now, of course, there's some things that's just going to take money. We ain't going to be able to get away from around that. Some things are going to take money, right? But there's some things that there's just some things that we're going to have to be able to figure out. Case in point, talking about getting the job done, not allowing things to stop the process. So I got a partner of mine that I'm working on a project. We're working on music together, right? And we got a 50-50 situation. So we just want to make, and with that being said, we want to make sure that everything is being taken care of, that the final product is getting out. He signed to a label, you know what I'm saying? So we just want to make sure that whatever we working on, that it's a final product and it's ready to be submitted to his label, right? So we finished up the song. He recorded it. You know, of course I did the production. He recorded it. You know, killed it. You know what I'm saying? I mixed it and mastered it. You know what I'm saying? I mixed it. You know, had to go back and make some edits. You know, just the typical. You know, finishing up. You know, getting that final product. Mix and master, everything ready to go. He ready to submit the joint, but he didn't have any artwork, so he kind of got to a little fork in the road. Didn't have the artwork. He submitted the joint, but the label needed the artwork, right? So he was looking for a graphic designer. I happened to see that he posted saying that, hey man, I'm looking for a graphic designer. I seen the post. I reached out to him like, yo, I said, man, what you looking for? You know what I'm saying? You know what? And I'm not sure, and I'm really not sure of his financial situation. That's not my concern. But I'm just like, okay, look, we almost at the finish road of the product. Let's just try to see this all the way through here. We like at the tail end. We don't need nothing to hold up this process. So he was like, well, man, yeah, you know, so what I'm looking for is kind of complex, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So I said, well, look, just send it to me. You know, maybe I can help. Now, granted, I'm not a graphic designer, but I know how to work Canva. You know what I'm saying? I got a Canva account. You know what I'm saying? So he sent me the joint. He sent me the picture he wanted to use. You know what I'm saying? I went to Canva. You know, Canva got like templates and stuff. They got single cover templates. You know, I put in the cover. You know, slid the joint in. You know, finagled the fonts. You know what I'm saying? I sent him a version. He's like, yeah, can you do this? Can you change the color on it? Blah blah blah. Bam bam bam. And he was like, I bet. So, you know, once I finished it, submitted it to the record label. The record label cleared it. Now the label don't know that, you know, that we use Canva. You know what I'm saying? They just needed a final product. They ain't banking on that. They just knew that they needed a quality single cover that they can get ready to roll out. And they needed the music and the cover and everything else attached to that song by the 16th to get it to roll out for next month. But, you know what I'm saying, that one little thing, you know what I'm saying, that one little thing not having, you know what I'm saying, because my man, he kind of, you know, got to a fork in the road. And granted, you know what I'm saying, graphic designer in this thing. And guess what? You might be like, well, Marv, you know, some things I just can't do. And I get it. I get that. I get it. And I know, man, sometimes, you know, this stuff can be discouraging, you know what I'm saying, when you figure, you know, that stuff that you need, that you be needing to do, but you know you don't have the ability or the know-how to do it. Sometimes it just take a little just researching. You know what I'm saying? It just take a little just studying. For me personally, I go to YouTube. I have learned if there's something that I don't know how to do, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go research. I'm gonna go study. YouTube can be your best friend if you just take the time to figure it out. With me just being a little studious enough to be able to just having a little know-how, was able to pull it off, and the record label signed off on it. The song is ready to go. It's ready to roll out for next month. My point in today's producer pocket is, don't let nothing stop you from finishing the work. Don't let not having the money, not having enough money stop you. Don't let not having enough ability or knowledge stop you. If those things are factors, right? If it's a factor of not having the money, okay, well, let's figure out how to maybe make some more money. Maybe you need to get a night gig. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to get you might need to get a part-time gig to be able to, bring in some extra income, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, maybe you're trying to, you might need, okay, if your issues, well, I need recording, I need studio time. Maybe you need to invest in. You might have a laptop already. Maybe you may need to invest in you some recording equipment, an interface, a microphone, and some speakers, and get on YouTube. Get you some software. Depending on what kind of computer you have, the software may already be on there, and figure out how to record yourself and get good at it. Or if you don't want to go that route, get you a job and figure out how you can pay for studio time. But in 2025, most independent artists, not even independent artists, but most artists these days are recording themselves. Why? Because nothing stops the process. Nothing should stop the process. You need a graphic designer and you don't have one? Figure out how to use Canva. Go to YouTube. Figure out how to use Adobe. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Figure things out. You know what I'm saying? Take the time while you're sitting up, watching ESPN, watching, on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can be investing 15, 20 minutes of your time watching YouTube on something that you don't know. Because the people that you're watching on TikTok and on YouTube and on social media, they know how to run. They know how to use the Canva and all these different social media apps to make these videos. You know what I'm saying? They making money with it too. I keep saying it. It's 2025. You got to change the narrative. You got to change it. No excuses. It's your boy Mar for more beats. It's another producer pocket. Grace and peace.